Yeah, like I think with an athlete, when you train and you exercise, you enjoy this process. It makes you get stronger. You become more of you become more efficient. Your performance gets better. So, but the cost of that is you need to break down your body. You need to wear and tear your body. That's part of the process that you undergo to become better. That's true for any athlete. Like, yeah, it's a very good question. You know, what's funny is that when I started the business, I would honestly have to say I anticipated no struggle because I think that can be a weakness as well as a strength. And I think it may be a thing that, yeah, actually, that's a very good question because reflecting on it now, I think it's kind of like it is a weakness because it means that you're just like, you're so.
Welcome back to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where everyday people share the quotes that have shaped their lives, inviting us all to reflect and connect. Today we're joined by John Graham Harper, the visionary founder and CEO of Lumaflex. With a remarkable journey from competitive athletes to health innovator, John has dedicated his life to transforming recovery through groundbreaking red light therapy. His passion for empowering others shines through in everything he does, making wellness accessible for all. So let's dive into John's story and discover the wisdom that has guided him along the way. Tell us your name and what your favorite quote is.
So I'm John Graham Harper. I'm the CEO and founder of Lumaflex, which is a red light therapy company. And in my life, I've had a lot of injury where light has helped me recover. And I've had a lot of downtimes. And then I've noticed that after that downtime, there's a high time. It's like you reach a new level in your life. So the quote, the sort of the motto, my philosophy of life is you accept challenges are part of being a human. And that's like level 1. So acceptance. And then level 2 is where you appreciate challenges that come into your life. And then God mode, I call it, level 3, is where you know that with every low comes a big high. So you actually look for challenges in your life. So I have this, that's sort of the framework that I work with in my life is this acceptance, appreciation, and then you look for, you seek out challenges. It's sort of, it's not really a quote, I know. It's not really a mantra or a motto. It's sort of just a framework. And that's something that when you ask that question, that's what I always think of whenever I'm asked that.
This episode is going to be super interesting. Okay, and you get to see why. Now, at the end of this episode, right? That mantra you talked about, right? I would want us to do something. So I'll just giving the heads up, and that is you would feed it into ChatGPT or any of the LLMs, and kind of ask it to create a quote for us. And I would love to see what the output would be. And yeah, okay,
yeah, I like that.
Okay, when I'm guessing this thing is it's your own custom realization, or is it like something you heard from somewhere or someone?
Yeah, it's a self-realization, exactly that. And I remember when I thought of this framework, this sort of concept. I remember I was doing because I used to compete in rugby. And I blew out both my shoulders and my left knee. And then I went into amateur boxing and I had to stop fighting because due to so many impacts to the head, I developed a micro tumor. It's like, and I had to have this big invasive surgery. It was this big life-changing moment in my life. And then I went into bodybuilding, which is a very safe way to continue to challenge yourself, because coming from a fitness background, I always wanted to compete in something. And bodybuilding is actually, it's quite safe. It's just dieting, like in curls, it's not too aggressive. And I remember I finished my 4th competition and I was traveling to another city after the competition. And that's where I remember looking out the window and it was raining. And I thought of this. I kind of like reflected on these major lows that I had. And I had a major sort of epiphany, it's a aha moment, where I'm like, oh, I see, I realize how I got to this point. I remember the exact, that day. And I was like, yeah, you have to sort of, if I'm talking to my younger self and preparing him for all that I've done leading up to that point, this is what I would tell him. If I had like, a quick conversation with him, I'd have to tell him, just remember this framework, you'll be okay. Yeah.
How far back was this?
So I let's see. Yeah, this is about an 8-year span, I guess, when I first started to get very aggressive into sport, and obviously getting very severely injured, and then all the way up into that day where I finished my fourth competition in bodybuilding. Yeah, it was about 8 years. And during this time, that's when I discovered the power of light and natural healing, and I kind of saw how, like, coming from a fitness background, very aggressive into sport, and then coming into medical and pursuing a career, to change people's lives with light therapy, with natural healing. I sort of saw how, there was sort of a design there. The universe was taking care of me and pushing me towards to doing something like this, because it's very impactful what I'm doing now. It's there's lots of lives that have been changed, and that's obviously a great, it feels very good to be part of that. That's obviously what we all grind for, is to make significant impact in the world, right?
Now okay, I would have loved to ask you before, but I guess let me ask you after, from the timeline of the 8 years down to this time, which is about 8 years, as you said earlier, you've happened to work on a couple of projects, bodybuilding and this Lumaflex you talked about. Now, I would love for you to, like, using that framework, give us the stories of how, the struggles came, and kind of how you, like, took this really the struggles and as a stepping stone, and what was the high, what was the kind of, you talked about the high and low, what was the high, and then tell us the low and what was the high, and then yeah, I'd love to get the story. So I'm listening.
Yeah, like, I think with an athlete, when you train and you exercise, you enjoy this process. It makes you get stronger. You become more of an you become more efficient. Your performance gets better. So, but the cost of that is you need to break down your body. You need to wear and tear your body. That's part of the process that you undergo to become better. That's true for any athlete. Like, if you're looking at, like, I idolize boxers, right? And that's like my big passion is boxers. And when you see a pro boxer in the ring and he's holding up the belt, the undisputed or the WBC champion, when you see that, you think, wow, that's so amazing. You see them at their high, right? But but if you are an athlete yourself, you do know that there was a significant amount of cost to getting to that point in life where he's in the ring and he's holding up the belt. You don't, but to the average person, they don't see all of the wear and tear that he put on his body, and the struggles that not only he faced physically but mentally and emotionally, having to take care of his family or dealing with relationship issues or career decisions, and that. And for me, I was very aggressive at a young age to get into sport and to be dominant in my sport. I was very young, very ambitious, and a little bit blindsided. Like, I wasn't quite. I was. There's the term, the yes man. I was always, yes, I can do it. Yes, I can do it. I wasn't very cautious of my decisions. So this led to a lot of injury, but then that injury teaches you to go slow, to be more process, right? To be more thoughtful, and not just think about the now, but also think about the future and your impact in the future. And that's kind of what you learn. And when you start to learn this and you grasp it, there's a lot of value that comes also for you inside as a human being. You become a lot more centered, a lot more a lot more happy, satisfied, whatever term that, whatever people are chasing. Happiness isn't something you really want to be chasing. You want to be chasing peace, satisfaction. And that's kind of like what looking now, I'm almost 40. I don't chase this kind of like aggressive, I want to win. I just want peace, right?
Okay. I want you to, like, talk about your company, but instead of talking about your company, now, I'm guessing you're the founder of this company, right?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Now, how long has this company been, like, been alive?
So we are 2 years launched on the 24th of this month. We're going
Okay.
to have our 2-year
So
anniversary.
I've seen this stuff you talk about. I don't know if you know this guy, Awaken with JP.
Awaken with GP. Yes.
You know him.
Yes.
So he does the advertisement for those products. So like, I don't know, it's a different company, but he talks about this, helps you do stuff and all those things. And so when you mentioned it, I was like, oh yeah, so that's the kind of stuff he makes. Now, I want you to, over the course of growing this business, I know you faced a lot of struggles. I know you faced a lot of challenges, but this podcast is about stories. And of course, I could, top level advice is great, but people want to like find stories to connect with. You get. So I don't know if you're comfortable with it. If not, no problem too. But if you're down for it, I would love for you to like share some of the struggles you had, for this past 2 years of growing this business now, and and some of the breakthroughs you had while doing the business.
Yeah, yeah, because the business, actually the struggles that were there, all that I've the injuries I faced in my athlete career
Yeah,
definitely helped me with dealing with
this
the
one.
world of business. Because what you have to remember, especially if you're starting a company and you have a vision to do a global company.
Yeah.
Like I'm in China right now. I'm pursuing the Asia market. I'm very passionate also about the GCC. I want to work with Saudi partners. I want to go to Egypt, Kuwait. And obviously the company is in the US, but I have a big vision for a global dominance.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of trial and error, a lot of mistakes. And where Lumaflex, I think, where I realized the first sort of hurdle was in the development stage of the product itself, and really understanding what is it that we're trying to build. And let's make sure we build something that works. Like we don't want to pre-launch or accelerate the development process. We want to launch with something that really is tried and proven and has given us good feedback. So actually, the company is launched for almost 2 years, but the development process was almost 3 years. So
Oh, okay. So it's
yeah.
more like 3 years of developing and working on the product, and then 2 years of being in public. That's like 5 years.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. So and that development process is you have to have so much patience and deal with so much failure and throw it out. Let's do it again. It's like that video, where the guy, throws everything off his desks and is like,
Yeah.
we're starting again. New piece of paper, everyone clear your minds. It's kind of like we're starting from scratch. We had to do that again and again and again. And for me, that is very aggressive. And like, it was teaching me the process, to be process, to go slow. Yeah. So Lumaflex, the size of this panel, this size, took an unusually long amount of time because the number one pain that is in the world right now is the lower back. More people have lower back pain than any other pain in the world, right? And people go on to drugs or pharmaceuticals, right? They get on and potentially even have surgery when they don't need to. So we want to address the number one pain that's in the world, which is the lower back. So a large surface area is needed. But we don't want to be too big to where we lose the thing that creates consistency, which is portability. So coming from a fitness background, we always preach, consistency, eat healthy every day, exercise every day, sleep every day, small steps every day. It's consistency is the thing that is key in any success. If you want to be a millionaire.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join, or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
You want to have a wonderful family, relationships, business, and certainly with your body, consistency is always a thing. It's a key metric. So to create consistency of use, portability is very much like the fundamental thing that we do in product development. And having a device too big, we lose portability. There's certain bags and that it won't be able to fit into, and we can't really guarantee the person will take it with them anywhere they go. They won't, this won't go on a plane. They won't use this in the car. They won't take this and give it to their kids before soccer practice. So we need a certain size for portability, but we also need to address a pain that's in the world now, which is the lower back. So the size, going from we finally set on this size. And yeah, I mean, it worked. It just took a long time and, required a lot of patience, but yeah.
The question I would ask is, I'll need you to be honest with me, is that when you had this idea of starting the business, did you anticipate the struggles? And if yes, the amount of struggles you anticipated, was it more in reality or less?
Yeah, it's a very good question. You know, what's funny is that when I started the business, I would honestly have to say I anticipated no struggle, because I think that can be a weakness as well as a strength. And I think it may be a thing actually, that's a very good question, because reflecting on it now, I think it's kind of like, it is a weakness because it means that you're so passionate and enthusiastic, you don't see the obstacles, so you just run through, right? But then later you're like, wow, that hurt, so it's like a balance of discipline and motivation. When you're highly motivated, you don't see, any storms or any obstacles. So this gives you the enthusiasm, the sort of the energy, the power to go. But then when you hit those obstacles, you need to exercise discipline, methodically work out the problem, but then, turn on the motivation to push forward again, right? So I think, honestly, if I did know about the amount of struggle that I went through, I probably wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. I wouldn't have done it. I would go to Thailand and sell coconuts instead. Yeah.
Oh my God. Probably one of these days when I go as a tourist on Thailand and I see you selling coconut, I say, young man, tell me your story. And you're like, yeah. I used to have an idea of starting a tech business. I was like, yeah. I'm like, that's what everybody wants to do.
Yeah. I do want to retire in Thailand and sell coconuts, but just for fun, right? I'll have like a special kind of coconut cocktail that will take over the market. Everyone will want my coconut.
That'll be interesting. Like, it's a different thing of doing business. How do I explain that? Of course, I'm one of those people that believe that you don't retire is in quotes. I don't really believe that when you grow old you should stop working, because I think there's a purpose in terms of work, but the type of work you do kind of changes over time, of course. But you should keep doing something, like even if it's teaching, mentoring, the younger generation, whatever it is, but just keep showing up for something so that you don't have to like sit down all day where you're just, and I don't mind, it's not good for anyone.
Yes, 100%. Like retirement for me is just you will still have to do, because it's in our DNA. We as humans, it's written in our DNA to solve problems, to build, to lead, right? And to discover. That's it's in our DNA. And this idea of retirement where you sit and do nothing, it's very scary to me. I would never want to I would like to reset and then start all over again and try something new.
Because there's so many things to do when you grow old. So many things. You can start mentoring the younger generation. Create a mentorship program for them, and you just give back and give back and give back. Like, there's so many things you could do, and that's work.
That's it, 100%. Yeah.
I want us to quickly walk through and go through the quote you started earlier on. Sorry, the framework you started with is that the first stage is acceptance that struggles will come. The second stage is what?
Appreciate it.
Appreciate the struggles will come in, and then the third stage is like the God mode, is to
search for. You look for the
okay,
problems.
to look
Or
for problems and look for struggles.
yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
You
Now,
seek out. You seek it out.
okay,
It's kind of like it's like the cheat code, you could say. It's the cheat code of life.
okay.
Yeah.
Now, what I want us to do is, I want us to do a couple of things, right? I want us to go to ChatGPT. Of course, you'll be the one to go to ChatGPT because right now I'm recording on my phone, and I'm assuming you're recording from your laptop. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, you're recording from your laptop, right?
Yeah, laptop. So I got my phone. I got
Okay.
ChatGPT.
But here's the interesting thing I want us to do because this thing will go live on YouTube. So for those that are watching on YouTube, I want them to be able to see something to like hold on to. So I'd love for you to go to ChatGPT and then share your screen because you can share your screen with me via this app right now. And then
Oh.
when you do share your screen, I want us to like prompt it. So I want us, of course, to prompt I don't know, you do the prompting where it gives us a quote that is, in simple language from that framework, or you could bring out a poetic one line or two line from the framework, and then we get to pick. You just tell it to give us 5 to 10, so we'll pick our favorite. I don't know if you understand. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could share your screen, that would be greatly appreciated. That way we get to like see everything you're doing.
All right. So let's
Um,
see. Screen and allow and then ChatGPT share. Let me know if this is coming through.
Not yet, not yet. I still see your okay.
Is it working?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I have a way of let me see. How do I so I gotta prompt it.
Yeah.
Okay. I want you
You do
to
the magic. I need to allow you to cook. Let
let's
him
say
cook.
sentences for this concept.
Okay.
Okay, we as humans must first accept challenges in life. Second, we must appreciate challenges in life. And third, we need to search
First challenge.
for challenges. This way, we optimize our experience as a human by having lows, but then big highs.
Can you like add for it to like give us poetic um 3 to 5 poetic quotes.
Yeah, let's say poetic. Yeah, say yeah, okay.
Like,
I'm all right. Let's see what it says. Come on,
okay.
ChatGPT. What have you got?
Mm, you see,
Okay.
I think it's when you said 3 to 5 sentences. I think we have to like change that 3 to 5 sentences
Okay.
to quotes. So we're gonna basically edit it and say, um, let's make it quotes. Okay.
3 to 5 examples.
Okay. To live
Okay.
fully, we must first accept challenges. For in every struggle lies the seed of strength.
Wow,
Appreciate
that's
the
very
challenges
nice.
that shape you. Ooh, mama, my God,
That's
this is nice.
appreciate the challenges that shape you, for they are
Wow.
stepping stones to your greatest triumph. Seeking out
Wow.
challenges, for it is
For it is in
lows.
the lows that we
That's
find the
very nice.
light of success.
Challenges are obstacles, but opportunities to grow. Accept them, appreciate them, and seek them out. Oh, there we go. That's very nice. The path to greatness affords through challenges. First accepting, then appreciate them, finally seeking them out. Ooh,
Mm,
this is
wow,
wow.
this is
This
good.
is good.
This is
This is
good.
very good.
This
This
is
is
good.
very good.
Wow.
Oh, I
I
love
think
it.
for me,
Yeah.
I'm kind of like trying to pick a favorite, but right now, I'm just. I think the first one sounds poetic. It sounds like Master Ugwe speaking.
Yeah,
Live
that's right.
fully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
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 you seem like I mean, you're getting the sort of the philosophy of our ancient ancestors who were
yeah,
very centered, connected to nature, and were for sure optimized as
yeah,
human beings, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Right?
yeah. Wow. Um, chatting with you has been really fun, and it's been easy. Thank you so much for making that easy for me.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, this is very cool. Such a great because you get this bite-sized piece of information that any and all could use, whether they add it or it's just data, right, that they're collecting from multiple sources to optimize their life and live a happier, healthier, be a happier, healthier person.
Yeah. Where can listeners learn more about you and you talk about your company and all that? Where can they check and see more about what you do?
Very easy. Just www.lumaflex.com. Luma is light, flex like flexibility. And if you want to reach out and send me a funny emoji, just contact me on John Graham Fitness on Instagram. John Graham Fitness is on it. That's me on IG.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast and for sharing your quotes and stories and your stories too.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Such a mind-probing discussion. I enjoyed that.
Thanks for listening to Relatable Wisdom. If you found something meaningful in this episode, make sure to follow or subscribe wherever you're listening. If you'd like to support the show, you can do that by buying me a coffee. The link is in the show notes. Every little bit keeps the conversations going. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep growing.